Hello, and welcome to the Gamer's Closet. I'm your host, Douglas Weed, and today we're going to be talking about Jumanji the board game. Jumanji the board game was manufactured in 1995 by Milton Bradley Incorporated. It is a roll, spin, and movement game. The game runs for about 45 minutes of game time, is rated for ages 8 and up, and seats anywhere from 2 to 4 players. But let's dig into it a little further, shall we? The Jumanji board game was released in 1995 and coincided with the release of the movie from TriStar Pictures. The game was re-released in 2017 by Cardinal Games. The game had new updated colorized artwork, and they also added new updated messages on the riddle cards. The game has been released in multiple languages, including English, French, Spanish, Korean, and Italian. This game does come with multiple pieces. It comes with a game board, 4 pawns, a rhino figure, an hourglass timer, a numbered die, 4 rescue dice, 30 danger cards, a game board center, and a decoder. To set up this game, each player chooses a pawn and place it on its matching colored start space. Place unused pawns out of play. Shuffle the danger cards and place them face down in a draw pile on the game board draw space, pictured here on the right. Place the rhino figure on its home base, pictured here on the left where the rhino picture is held on the board. Each player chooses 1 rescue dice. Place any remaining rescue dice out of play. The player who suggested playing this game goes first. The player whose turn it is always gets the timer and the numbered die, then play continues clockwise. On your turn, roll the numbered die. Then move your pawn along your colored path towards the game board center. The number of spaces shown on the die. Follow space directions only on your turn. When your turn is over, pass the timer and numbered die to the player on your left. There are 4 different types of spaces in this game. On your turn, do the following when your pawn ends its move on one of these spaces. First of these are blank spaces. Jungle dangers threaten you. Fellow players try to rescue you by rolling the hourglass or the symbol matching on the danger card. Here is how. Draw a danger card from the draw pile. Slide it face up under the decoder and read the message out loud and reveal the secret symbol and number. Your card will reveal one of the following symbols: a rope, a saber, a die, an axe, a racket, an open door, or a raft. Each symbol is pictured on the rescue dice. Fellow players will try to save you by quickly rolling the symbol that matches your card using their rescue dice. You, as the official timekeeper on your turn, say ready, set, go as you turn over the timer. Fellow players must try to roll either the matching symbol or the hourglass before time runs out. You do not roll. Please note that the hourglass is wild. It matches any card symbol. To rescue a player, all other players quickly roll their rescue dice at the same time. Each of these players must roll continuously until a matching symbol or the hourglass is rolled. Players must hurry. They only have 8 seconds. The timekeeper announces when time runs out. If all fellow players roll either the matching symbol or the hourglass, you're safe. Your pawn stays on its space. Fellow players move their pawn ahead the number of spaces shown on the card. Players do not follow the space directions. Place that card face up on the discard pile. Your turn is now over. If one or more players fail to roll either the matching symbol or the hourglass, you must move your pawn backward the number of spaces shown on the card. All other players stay put. Place the card face up on the first Doomsday Grid space on the game board. Your turn is now over. The danger cards placed on the Doomsday Grid represent the dangers that are overtaking the town. As the game progresses, danger cards are added to the grid in the order from bottom left to the top left, and then the top right down to the bottom right. Try not to fill the grid with cards. If it fills up before a player reaches the game board center, all players lose. You must play the game again until someone wins. The next type of space is the wait for 5 or 8 spaces, which are pictured here in purple. You're being sucked into the jungle, moving back space by space until a player stops you by rolling a 5 or an 8. It may take several rolls for your fellow players to stop you. The player to your left now rolls the number die once. If a 5 or 8 is rolled, you're safe. Both you and the roller stay put. Your turn is now over. If a 5 or an 8 is not rolled, you must move your pawn back 1 space. Please do not follow the space directions. The player to the roller's left now rolls the number die once, and so on. You do not roll the die. Move back 1 space on each unsuccessful roll until a player rolls a 5 or an 8 and stops you from moving backwards. Your turn is over. Please note, if you are unlucky enough to move back to the start space, your turn is over. Start your turn on the then start space. There are 4 circle spaces on the board that each share 2 different colors. These are called jungle spaces. All players, including you, are trapped in the jungle. You must all roll to rescue each other. Your turn does not end until you are successful. On these treacherous spaces, you may be forced to add several danger cards to the doomsday grid. First, draw a danger card and slide it in the decoder. Second, read the message out loud and reveal the secret symbol and number. Third, turn over the timer. Fourth, all players, including yourself, quickly start rolling their rescue dice at the same time. All players quickly roll their rescue dice together. Keep rolling continuously until the needed symbol or hourglass is rolled. The timekeeper announces when time runs out. If all players roll either the matching symbol or the hourglass, players are safe. All players move their pawns ahead the number shown on the card. Players do not follow space directions. Place the card in the discard pile. Your turn is over. If one or more players fail to roll either the matching symbol or the hourglass, place the card on the next empty doomsday grid space. All players stay put while you draw another card. All players repeat the following steps I just went over until all players roll that card's matching symbol or the hourglass. You may need to draw several doomsday cards before you're safe, and then your turn is over. And finally, the rhino spaces. You may, if you wish, put the rhino figure on the space directly ahead of any pawn, except on the game board center, to block that player from moving. The blocked player remains on that space until another player lands on a rhino space and moves the rhino, or the blocked player rolls an even number on their turn. If your pawn is blocked by the rhino, roll the number die once on your regular turn. If you roll an even number, place the rhino back on its home base and move forward the number of spaces shown on the die. Follow the directions for the space you land on. If you roll an odd number, the rhino remains blocking you and follow the directions for the space you're on. There are times when the rhino will follow you. If your pawn is blocked by the rhino and moves backwards, move the rhino along with it, always making sure it stays on the space just ahead of your pawn. When moving, there's a couple of things that you need to remember. Players can't occupy the same space. Whenever you move onto an occupied space, move your pawn ahead to the next open space. Always move your full count, with the exceptions of being blocked by the rhino and not reaching the game board center by exact count. If you can't move your pawn on your turn, follow the directions for the space you're on. For example, if you're blocked by the rhino and are on a wait for a 5 or 8 space, follow the directions for that space. To win this game, be the first to reach the game board center by exact count and call out Jumanji. There are 2 ways to reach the game board center. On your turn by exact die count after rolling the number die, or on a fellow player's turn by exact number count after moving ahead on a danger card. Please note, if the die or card number is less than the spaces you need to reach the center, move your pawn the number of spaces shown. However, if the die or card number is more than the spaces you need to reach the center, keep your pawn where it is. If it is your turn, follow the directions for the space that you're on. More than one player can reach the game board center on the same turn, but the winner is the one who yells Jumanji first, so pay attention. The final thing I need to mention about this game is the Doomsday Grid pictured here on the left just beneath the rhino. If the Doomsday Grid fills up before a player reaches the game board center, the jungle has overwhelmed you and all players lose. You must play the game again until someone wins. There are 2 additional variants to this game. You can play in a challenge game. Using random cards from the card deck, add 1 through 6 danger cards to the Doomsday Grid before you start. See if you can beat the odds. And there is a special 2-player game rule. Play by the regular rules with one exception. The hourglass is no longer wild on the rescue dice. Well, this has been an overview of Jumanji the board game.
Jumanji the board game is a straightforward roll, spin, and movement game. There is not very much strategy to this game whatsoever. So it is pretty much a family-friendly game or something to play if you're having a theme movie night or something along those lines. It has a lot of references to the original 1995 Robin Williams film. A lot of the cards are the same. A lot of the board materials are the same, where you have the roll 5 or 8 spaces. You have to deal with a little plastic rhinoceros figure. You have to go through and beat as many of the cards as possible before the killer plants win. So then that way you have to start over again. The theming on the board looks a lot like the original film. One of the downsides of this is if you watch the film, the game runs with 2 d6s. They made this game with a d8 dice, which is different from most board games. But if you want to actually go play Jumanji, the board game, there's a lot of differences to it. The game itself is a good game to play with kids, or if you just want a basic fun time roll spin move. There's no strategy behind this game. So if you want a good game night game, I would recommend finding something else. But as the game goes, for what it does present, it's colorful, it's nice, it has nice art to it, it looks nice, sharp, and looks good. But like I said, it's more of a family game if you want to get your kids involved into playing something. I would kind of rate it at the same level as like Candyland or something along those lines that's very kid-friendly, but there's not a lot of rules behind it. So it's kind of a slight step up from Candyland. But overall, it's a decent game. If you haven't played it before, I would recommend playing it. They did just put out a new reprint of this game, which is in most retail stores online. It is fairly easy to find. The game itself goes online anywhere from about $10 and up, again, depending on which version you can find. But like I said, you can always find it in places like Target. You can find it in Barnes & Noble, a lot of places like that where they have reprint retro games. But like I said, if you haven't played this game, I would recommend playing this game. Well, that's it from us here at the Gamers Closet. We'd like to thank you for checking out our video on Jumanji from Milton Bradley Games. If there's a game in the future you'd like us to review and go over, please put it in the comments below. Please hit subscribe so that way you can be the first to check out our future content. And as always, please have a great gaming day.